Thinking about your online content and how it needs some help, and should you be hiring a student? Well, in this video, we're going to cover why and why not, or when and when you shouldn't. Let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos. This is mentorsapproach.com, where we strive to make a video each and every week to get you thinking and moving in the right direction. So hit subscribe. Today, we're talking about hiring a potential future student that might help you with your online content that you want to be creating. And the question becomes when and when you shouldn't hire a student, because often is the case, people will think, hey, I'm just going to hire a student that seems to know what they're doing with a camera or their phone or online social media, and they're probably going to help them, so let's just hire anybody and get moving. And it's incredibly wrong or bad decision to just make without thinking about it with regards to your business. Your business is your business, and what you do with your business all reflects on your decision making. If you hire a student that doesn't know what they're doing, you put yourself in a critical risk factor where you could suffer the consequences of not hiring somebody who knows what they're doing, especially if you don't know what you're doing. On the other hand, you could hire somebody that is very smart, sees everything the way a normal adult who's been in the business for 4 or 5 years sees it, and they could perform quite well for you. At the end of the day, the question is, why would you want to hire a student when you could hire somebody else? And usually that comes down to money. Money is a driving factor to this. If I hire a student, they know a little bit of this online stuff. They're really good with computers, and these kids know a lot of stuff right now in this modern day, and I don't. So, we'll just hire one of these kids and let them do, and we'll pay them less. And that often is the case where people will hire one of these kids. They'll see that their social media is proving them to be a negative more than a positive, and their business starts to suffer from it, and then they start to reconsider their decision. That being said, when is it good to hire a student? Well, doesn't matter who you hire. If you have a good working plan, then a student is good to hire. As long as you have a marketing plan and it makes sense, then you will be able to hire a student and tell them exactly what you need and train them to that point where they can deliver on what you need. If you have no planning, well, doesn't matter who you hire, even if it's a seasoned professional. Yes, you may get a little bit more better stuff from it, but it's still going to be, at the end of the day, something that suffers long term. What do I mean by all of this? We have a lot of students out there that need jobs. A lot of students that are learning skill sets in this industry. And a lot of them that really are into it watch a lot of content on how to do things, and they do quite well, and you see their growth year after year. And you have other ones that, hey, I've done a couple of pictures and I know what I'm doing with, my, TikTok feed, and guess what? I can repeat it for your business, and you can't differentiate who knows what. There has to be a guide of some form that relates to your business, because every business is different, and it's not going to be the same as their feeds of posting pictures on, Instagram of themselves, or, the cafe they went to. All right, so let's take a step back and ask ourselves, do we have that plan first? Secondly, what do we need them for in accordance to the plan? Are they going to be doing everything? Are they going to be a jack of all trades? Or are they going to be specific to their skill set? I have a list of students that I have worked with different businesses that we've hired on that do certain things well, and then other stuff they don't. These could be students from high school, these could be from college, they're just grads, recent grads, and they know their skill sets, and they do their skill sets well. So we hire them based on that skill set. So when we're working with a client and they go, hey, I got these students from our local college, what do you think? We look at their resume, we look at what they have as their online profiles, we understand what they're really good at. Some might be good with video, some with photography, some with writing, some are just not good with any of it, but they know how to put things into a storyline, and they like that creative aspect. And you see, in any case, that skill set will develop, so we can sit there and say, okay, what are we going to hire the student for, and what is our actual budget for the student? There's a lot of government programs out there, depending on what province or state you're at, that give money, but you need to be willing to understand the risk factor that comes with hiring a student, and understand that when you hire that student, you will have to be actively involved in that growth that the student's going to have in that position in order for you to get that return on investment that you have. This is a critical factor that a lot of people miss. And they go and they hire a student and they think they're going to do everything at a cheap price of like below minimum wage or at minimum wage. When the going rate is 25 bucks an hour for a content creator, and you are happy that you got somebody for 12 bucks because in your area it's 12 bucks for minimum wage, this is just an estimation of both numbers, you're going to get that quality difference. That's that. If you're in, in the Toronto area where the going rate for minimum wage is 14, and you find somebody that is willing to take 14, there's a reason why they're willing to take 14. And in the case of a student, well, guess what? It's a skill set. It's the same thought process. If I'm going to pay more for somebody, they have skill sets that I don't need to worry about, and they are going to learn everything else that we're putting into the project that will help grow the project. However, when you're hiring somebody who's going for 14 as a minimum wage, they're going to have X amount of skill sets that relate to that minimum wage. And a student is no different because they are learning. Which brings me to the next point here. When we're looking at these students who we're working with our clients and we're going through the scenarios of when they shouldn't hire, we look at it from one important aspect in each and every case. Does the student want to be there and want to grow? Does the student really want to do this and want to grow? Do they want to learn more? Do they want to take the opportunities that come to them and be more creative with the things they're doing? Or are they going to treat it like a job? Yes, I'm there. Thanks, douche. I did your pictures. I'm out. Or are they like, hey, I'm going to create the best stuff because I'm going to use it for my portfolio, and I'm here to do so I can move into bigger and better. And these are the students you want to encourage to have on your team. I've seen owners who are like, I don't really want that because what if they do great stuff and then they leave? What are you talking about? I kid you not. That was a conversation I had. I have business owners who go, well, what if I hire the student, they start to do well, and they're outshining the actual people that work for me? Easy decision, in my opinion. What if they want to make more money and they ask me for more money? Easy decision. We're going to look at what they're doing and see if it's worth it. Where's the value? And this is what we're talking about, value. If a student is coming into the picture and going, I can do video, but I also like to do photography, give me a chance to do both. Let's start with the video and let's try the photos, and then let's get moving into a growth factor of X degree to get you to a place where you're going to be able to take photos on a full-time basis too. And when I start to see my return on investment, guess what? You're going to see an increase in pay. Simple economics. Simple economics. And guess what? What are you going to get out of that? Well, you're going to get somebody who's working hard for you, that wants to stay long-term with you while they finish their degrees, and potentially even more. Especially if it's something that they see as a long-term viable option. I've seen people hire students, and even like first-year grads, second-year grads, and I'm talking to the business owners, I'm talking to the individual, the student, and the student's like, well, like I want to try, but like I can't use this stuff for anything, so I just do the bare minimum. And I go, what do you mean by you can't use this stuff? Oh, I can't put it in my portfolio. You won't let this student put the pictures they're making, the video they're making into a portfolio? Well, it's confidential stuff. What's confidential? It's going online. You're making content to go online. You got to support the student. You got to support their growth. You got to nurture the opportunity for them to grow into the best version of themselves. What's going to happen there? As a business owner, you're going to become a best version of you as a leader in your company to hire more individuals to grow your company even more. There are some people that do it right. We worked with an individual that hired students, and those students in this startup stayed with them for over 5 years because the growth was there until they got to a point where they're like, I need more, and I've done everything in this company. So they trained other students to take over their position, and then they went to the next level that they were looking at. Those are the types of role models we need. And that's what we need to focus on. So take some time when you're thinking about hiring a student. Where is the planning? How does that look and feel for you and the student? What is the risk tolerance you're willing to take? How is that skill set going to grow for the student? How are you going to focus on that one skill set? And then how are you going to start to move the skill sets, move the opportunity for the kid to grow in the other skill sets that you can give within that role. And then from there, how are you going to nurture the whole growth process so you can see that student take a lead in this whole process of your online content management? And if this isn't part of your idea of hiring a student and you just want somebody to come in and take pictures and not do anything about it and let them do everything, well, guess what? That's not going to work for you. Take a step back, think about all this. My name is Nikos. This is mentorsapproach.com. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Of course, hit the subscribe button. If you're a student, leave a comment below. What has been your experience with bad management, owners, and projects you've been involved with where you're kind of like, why did I do this? And if you've been an owner and you hired a student, what did that feel like? Did you make a mistake or was it successful, and why?